Hey everybody, welcome back to the Jeep Journals, where today and practically every day we're talking about the journey to health and wealth recovery. Thank you for joining me on this outing, on this soon to be quite hot day. So to the unaware observer, these clips might seem unrelated, and at the same time, all of these clips, even the ones that aren't this compilation, just like us, like you and I, we're all related. Even the plane going overhead right now, with all of the bringers of light, are all related to you and I. So I got this idea to put together these compilation videos after yesterday's outing to Hamilton Pools Preserve, where I got to share a wealth of knowledge with some new trail friends and employees who work in that area. And where I noticed that a lot of us have trouble focusing on the subject at hand. So on this channel, we talk about wellness and conservation, and we talk about it, but we also put action behind it. So there's an aspect that we've heard of, probably all of us, about faith is nothing without action. You know, faith plus action can move mountains, this, that, and the other. And here I try to show you on this journey that this is all true. And and so I try to show this by example. So that's why we're walking this trail today as I'm making this compilation, which hopefully you're gonna watch the whole thing of and be able to focus for long enough to recognize that maybe multitasking while we're watching certain things might not be such a great idea. Like for an example, walking down these steep areas without fully paying attention to each step we're taking and or while distracting one another might possibly be the equivalent of entertaining ourselves to death, or at least to poor health. So One thing I've noticed as we make our way further and further off of the pavement, and I'm sure many of you have, many of you can attest to this, but we get further and further from the noises, the disturbances that often take away our opportunities to rejoice, to be grateful. And if we're not grateful, we're certainly not making our way through a challenging situation like this with a smile on our face. We're only trying to regain something, to regain that joy that many of us seem to have outgrown. Now, this doesn't need to come across as a lecture. It's not. It's just an observation. And being able to observe things with a level of calm allows us to encounter certain situations and gain experience. For an example, did you know that during the dry seasons that we've experienced, combined with the recent freezes, that a lot of the ground cover was lost, which resulted in the felling of several trees? Look around for the cactus. But you won't see very much because much of it died off. Now, these fallen trees, if you noticed, have a good number of spider webs underneath them. They're ecosystems, just like anything else in nature that falls. It'll be repurposed. So we ourselves are nature, and just to kind of put it into perspective, a friend of mine yesterday messaged me that some people were approaching wild snakes to kill them in their natural habitat because, well, that's probably what was taught to them by our fathers. She, being a very small woman compared to many people, she fearlessly swam across the river to advise these people not to do that. And they stopped because they saw her passion about this life. So I'm showing you as much of this wild experience as I've been able to enjoy with passion, so that you also can learn to be a little bit less destructive, or help others to learn, even myself, to become less destructive. In order to participate in this journey, we can interact with one another, but only if we can stand or sit for long enough to hear one another talk and to actively listen, not just hear someone talking. So in addition to our body, because it's body, mind, and spirit. Excuse me, I heard something moving around here. Whatever it was has chosen to remain hidden. It's probably a lizard. But in addition to our body, we have our mind and spirit to tend to. And in a lot of cases, we're in social circles, whether they're virtual or not, where all we have to do is continue to move in the path of goodness, which distances us from things that are not so wholesome. Some of our views of good versus bad are a little bit skewed. Some of our views are more in alignment with righteousness and have nothing to do with forgiveness, because we're all imperfect, right? Unless you've got parents who told you nothing but you're perfect. Well, let me give you a little bit of knowledge. None of us are perfect. We're created in an image, perhaps of our parents, perhaps of our father, perhaps of our mother. Really depends on how you view things. But the spirituality, body, mind, and spirit, says that we're also just children having an experience in these bodies that are forever changing. And they evolve to the point of sometimes difficulties doing the things we used to do, such as expressing joy, experiencing joy, and also even just moving about in some cases. So that's kind of why I'm taking you on this journey. So if you're still listening, congratulations. Don't forget to hit subscribe and to share whatever you find that's noteworthy to you. We started out with some cloud cover. You can see the haze in the air. On the news today, which I don't tend to dwell on, I saw some insight that shows that some dust from the Sahara is coming our way as well. So might get a little hazier. All of the plant life and animals are challenged by what we're experiencing, and without much effort, we continue to order up the things that bring us comfort and convenience. Look at that haze. You see it? So that's why I talk a lot about fasting, and that's also why I have fasted. On this channel, I've talked about it being done for the health of ourselves. In many segments, you can find that it brings health to our entire ecosystem, to include the very lands that we're steward of. So if you're having trouble getting your stuff in order, going without is some of the first challenging things that we can do. And sometimes it's not challenging. Sometimes it's extremely rewarding. So I'm not quite at the halfway point, so I haven't had my amazingly juicy snack yet, but I have encountered many of the examples that I'm keenly aware of, which is that we don't all have body, mind, and spirit in good health. And the reason I say that is because as I encounter people on the trails here, you yourself included, many are not returning the genuine Texas howdy that I'm greeting people with. Sometimes as I pass people, they're first of all unaware that I'm even there to begin with. And second, when they do become aware, they're not really aware of what I'm saying, which is relevant because if I say, hey, how are you doing? Have a great day. The standard responses should correspond with those basic insights. Like, hey, how are you doing? I'm doing great, you know, have a great day. You too, you as well, whatever your response may be. But sometimes the answers aren't even, they're not even related to, to what it is that I'm saying, if there is a response at all. In a lot of cases, I can make eye contact and actually wave at somebody and the eyes will be averted. So I'm seeing that a lot. And at this point in the trail system, many people do have physical health, but the well-being of the mind, the spirit, one of those two or both is not allowing them to return a greeting. So these are just basic observations. Again, this isn't a lecture. If I'm saying hello to you and saying, hey, you know, I put something in the description, please read it, maybe comment on it. That doesn't mean you have to, but if you've taken the time to grow to watch these channels, then you're also probably going to take the time to respond in kind. If you're new to this channel, you're probably asking why I'm not picking up all the debris that I'm showing to you. I think we need help, and by we I mean me and the few others who are picking up debris as we come through these areas. Today, I don't have a backpack. I just have my pockets and I'm holding something, and I'm gonna be eating that later, so I wanna keep my hands relatively untainted by whatever's on all these paper towels and bandages that you've seen so far. So when I share those things, I know that those clips of the unnatural items here do not bring you ease. They bring you discomfort, dis-ease. And that resonates back through me. So even though this hasn't even aired yet, you can see that it's taken a toll on me. And that's because some of you are gonna see this, a lot of you are gonna see this actually. And the beautiful thing about it is that this disease is curable. However, we need some help. The greatest assistance we can probably use will be from our parents, our grandparents, and our great-grandparents, and basically from the hierarchy that exists. So if you're on social media and you're any of those above categories, even if you're the parents of fur babies, it's probably beneficial to share the knowledge that you're enjoying right now. As we coherently discuss these perilous times that we're in, we can begin to recognize that there are many addictions that we prioritize our dollars on. And in a lot of cases, that priority is exposed when we pay attention to what we're paying for, even what we're not paying for in a lot of cases. For an example, if we're grabbing the free one-time use items, promotional items, maybe we should instead not grab those items anymore so that we can repurpose many of those things, many of those energies into new addictions. Like, there are a lot of people I know who are feeding birds regularly. They'll put bird seed that they've spent their hard-earned money on, and that's how they start the day. They'll refill the water feeders refill the bird feeders, tend to their own gardens, so to speak, and at the same time will light up cigarettes, have premium coffees with all kinds of ingredients, helpful or not, but they won't really think about the impact of those one-time pods that so conveniently make those individual servings of entertaining drinks. Here on these trails, I see a lot of Star Dollar type coffee drinks, beverage drinks. In the Big Bend National Park where I just was, I saw the Burger Royalty and the Dairy Royalty cups all over the road. There's not even any of those franchises around that area. So those items traveled a great distance because someone was entertained enough to bring those things into that environment without considering what a detriment it was to just dispose of that item right onto the trail systems. You've noticed those things in this video itself, haven't you? So how do we take care of something like that when we're bleeding out? In fact, that's part of the reason why I don't necessarily want to bring a pack to pick up any of these items. I'll need a whole crew with me, a whole group of activists who can also pick up what's being left behind, but also who can teach the next generations to not purchase so many of those destructive items that are tying up our resources. And we're really tying up our resources by slowing down the efforts it takes to stop the flow of one-time use. I mean, listen to this, look. Oh, I couldn't have planned this better. Check this out. See the water tower behind me? Now check this out. I'm hungry, just like anyone else. I'm more hungry for results than for the daily food. Man does not live on bread alone, right? So here we are, somewhere around the halfway point of our beautiful walk in nature, where I'm being nurtured, where I'm nurturing nature as best I can by showing her story, not his story, showing her story in a way that resonates with all of us. We're all made of the same substances. That purified water bottle, that's us. The martins that are flying overhead that we just heard chirping possibly, that's us. The people we encounter on the trail and either greet in return or don't, that's ourselves. And all of this energy can't be created or destroyed. It can only be magnified and resonated back and forth in a way that balances the books. So if I can somehow manage to have this channel monetized, which would allow me the flexibility of doing these things in a way where I'm actually recognized for, monetarily recognized for doing what I do, that would be awesome. If I need to go back to the workforce and do some trivial job, like work on, and I don't mean trivial like an insult, I mean, we've got work to do in our own backyard. And if I'm going to be doing some trivial job like defending our nation overseas by trying to incorporate the how-tos of how we should be doing things elsewhere, while taking my own rubbish into those equations and not recognizing the shipments and pallets of food and resources that are needed that we're consuming both from our own local areas and also from abroad, then I'm kind of missing a huge part of the picture, right? So are many of us. And I know that what I'm saying is either flying over most people's head, or it's being so understood and accepted that I'm fast becoming an enemy to the nation, as one of my older friends put it, that this could jeopardize my own health. But at the same time, why am I still smiling and laughing and doing things that are positive and creating? It's because I'm having a joyful time during this human experience with all of my counterparts. That's you. And I can feel that many are also reciprocating those Texas howdies in return. I can feel it. I can feel it because I've been rewarded amply. I've been lucky beyond what would be considered luck, and I'm grateful for all of it. Since I'm grateful for it, I try to do my best. Ooh, large lizard. Try to do my best. It ran under this shrub, or else I'd show it to you. Actually, I still might be able to. To bring you the same joy that I'm experiencing. There are a lot of people trying to get one up on someone else, get even, righteously claim what doesn't even belong to them. And there are a lot of people who are absolutely grateful for even the temporary amount of time that we've been entrusted to this very physical existence that we have been given by our Creator. Earlier today, I was having a conversation with somebody about trying on shoes, and no matter how many ways I tried to say it, they couldn't understand what I was saying when I was suggesting that they go to a local sporting goods store that has a lot of these brands that they were considering, so that they could try on not only the brands they were considering, but also other brands as well, mostly to see what style they really enjoyed. Check this out. I hope I'm getting these things in frame. One of the things, if there are any Apple shareholders who are listening to this, one of the things that would be beneficial is a button to switch the camera view from facing this direction to facing the other direction by the press of a button, because then we could more easily capture what's on both sides of the screen in a situation such as the one that I just encountered and demonstrated live. But anyway, returning to the subject at hand, I was trying to discuss with somebody how important it was to try on the shoes that they were going to be selecting from, the footwear, so that they could find not only the right fit, but the right style. Once they find the right style, I encourage them to go to the website to look for unique patterns, build their own, so to speak, because some websites for certain footwear, such as the footwear that I'm wearing, allows us to choose even the type of footbed, the comfortable footbed, coupled with, for an example, non-marking soles, which are important to some people. For me, there's a tiny lizard running across the field here. For me, what's important was finding not only a comfortable shoe, but a comfortable shoe that could bear the weight of a backpack. If I was backpacking right now, as you can tell, I'm not backpacking. In fact, this is my hydration pack. A super juicy piece of fruit that I'm going to really enjoy whenever I get around to enjoying it. But no matter how much I was talking with this person, they kept trying to insist that they had rewards dollars to spend in some other location. And those rewards dollars were the primary fixation of the viewpoint that they had. So I wasn't trying to shift the conversation away from using those rewards. I mean, feel free, you know, but the most important thing that I was trying to get to the point of was avoiding the wastefulness that comes from making the wrong decision. Those kind of things sometimes come from experience. And there's a lizard running on the trail in front of me. And these experiences, sometimes when we talk about them, sound like criticisms to those who are not quite comfortable talking about things that can be critiqued to begin with. For an example, it might, a snake. A snake. I really hope you got to see that. That's a Western coach whip that just went into the brush here. In fact, I'm going to stand in the shade right now. How cool was that? A large Western coach whip. That's the second one I've seen here. Anyway, it's important to learn with one another, especially when we're talking about the experiences of wastefulness and nurturing qualities. To buy the right thing the first time ensures that there's no additional waste that's going into the equation. And if we have the opportunity to buy something that is tended to for the life of the product, especially if it's made here locally, is 100% more beneficial than just buying things at a discount. The discount never is really going to matter. Over the course of time, have you ever thought, my God, I'm so glad that I got this for free? Or have you ever thought instead, I don't care what this would have paid, I would have been happy to pay that price or even double to get that which served me well? just a question to think about right now while we wait for this coach whip to reemerge. Stay tuned. Was cool. Have you ever talked with your dreams about somebody and then had them almost come true? The other day I was communicating with a friend of mine about a dream that I had where I saw a certain snake here. In the dream, it was a hognose snake. I think the one we have here is the eastern hognose snake. I'm not sure. But in the dream, I told this individual and also another person who was with us, look, a hognose snake. This is the second one I've seen in my entire life. Well, just a while ago, when we saw that coach whip, which I hope that you can see on the clip, or at least hear as it was moving through the brush, that's the second coach whip that I've seen here. It's not the second one that I've seen in my entire life. It's the second one of that color because the ones here seem to be quite a bit more pale than the ones in the Big Bend National Park, although I've seen some interesting colored coach whips there too. But anyway, as soon as I said that, as soon as the words came out where I said, that's the second one I've seen here, that's what it felt like. It felt like the dream that I had been communicating with my friend about had come relatively true right here on video for you. There are a lot of good books out there. Whichever one's the best good book to you is up to you. But in all of those books, there are teachings about dreams and how important that they can be, how you can receive messages from the Creator in those dreams that we have. So it's important to prepare ourselves humbly as we lay ourselves down to sleep, and to be observant and aware of the messages we're receiving and whether or not they're relevant to what it is that we're doing in real life. So if we have a lot of violent dreams or dreams about having relationships with people or what have you, these are all things that are worth being aware of. One of the things you really can't experience from your side of the screen right now are the wonderful smells from the trees that are around me and plants, and also from this piece of fruit. Ah, it smells so good. If this piece of fruit could sing, it probably would sing something like, "Don't you wish your trail snack was sweet like me? Don't you wish your trail snack was juicy like me? Don't you wish your trail snack was raw like me? Don't ya? Don't ya?" This is absolutely delicious. So I'm over 3/4 of the way through my walk right now. Definitely slowed down a little bit, mostly because I'm in the shade. And just got to enjoy my super juicy nectarine, which was a beautiful burst of energy and nutrients and hydrating. And at the car, I have a large water-filled container, which will still hold ice, even though it's been in the hot car for this whole time, because I have it in an amazing reusable container that is designed to hold ice for a long time. I'm definitely looking forward to that. And I know that even without that, I would still be in the clear. Speaking of in the clear, I'm back in the sun, but here comes the shade. It's really about making it from point A to whatever the point is we're driving towards, in comfort and while helping one another out. So I hope that this segment helped you to think about topics such as the ones I was thinking about, and also to enjoy nature, whether you're able to do so in person or not. The state of everyone's health is unique, and I'm not lecturing to try and change your particular belief system. Instead, I'm simply trying to incorporate another perspective. So if you enjoyed watching this segment, again, don't forget to share. Sharing is caring. We're a mile out. I'll probably do the entire outer perimeter to include the lower level, just to see if I can stir up any more wildlife. But I feel like when we saw the coach whip, we saw the prize of our walk, and usually it's hard to top the prize of the walk when you've already seen the prize. Once you've seen the prize, you just want to share the good news. So here's to sharing the good news. Until next time, peace, love, and all that old school stuff.